The flashing lights painted the quiet, mist-soaked street in strokes of harsh red and blue. Inside the elegant grey Lincoln, a woman sat perfectly still, her posture radiating a quiet dignity that seemed almost defiant against the strobing chaos. They saw an older black woman, alone, maybe lost, maybe an easy target. They thought she was just another driver. They were wrong. They just pulled over Margaret Ellis. And she was about to ignite a fire that would burn through the complacency of Silver Creek. It was just past 10. Sycamore Lane slept under a blanket of fog and silence, the kind of street where porch lights clicked off by 9. Margaret, 68, was driving home from a candlelight vigil for her husband, Robert. 1 week gone. 42 years of marriage, activism, life, vanished. Grief was a cold passenger beside her, a weight pressing down in the car's quiet interior. Her pearl earrings gleamed softly, catching the light. Snow-white hair swept into a bun. The picture of grace. Then, headlights filled her rearview mirror. Too close. A police SUV. Margaret knew the feeling. Decades lived in America taught you when you were being watched. She made a turn. The SUV followed. Another turn. Still there. Her heart rate ticked up, not fear, but a weary recognition. She signaled, eased the Lincoln to the curb beneath a flickering street lamp, hazard lights blinking rhythmically. The SUV strobes bathed the neighborhood in an unnerving glow. Margaret calmly placed her license and registration on the passenger seat, clearly visible. Hands folded in her lap. Breathing steady. She'd done nothing wrong. But that had never been a guarantee. A car door slammed. Boots crunched on wet pavement. A flashlight beam sliced through the fog, landing squarely on her face. Driver, roll down your window. The voice was sharp, devoid of warmth. Officer Haley Dunn. Mid-30s, sharp jaw, reputation for zero tolerance. License and registration. Margaret pointed. They're right there, officer. Haley didn't reach. She stared. What brings you to this neighborhood tonight? I live here, Margaret replied, voice even. 2 blocks over. Just heading home from the vigil, for my husband. He passed last week. A flicker of something, hesitation? Behind the flashlight beam. Then, these Georgia plates. When did you move here? 3 months ago. To be near my son. Another pause. Then the shift. I'm going to need you to step out of the vehicle. Margaret blinked. Is there a reason? Haley's voice hardened. Step out of the car. Now. The night snapped taut. Across the street, behind his curtains, retired firefighter Jim Hartley saw the lights, heard the tone. Something felt wrong. He picked up his phone, opened the camera, and hit record. History doesn't always knock politely. Margaret stepped out, the cool air a warning. Hands where I can see them, Haley barked. Margaret complied, a silent plea in her posture. Look at me. I'm no threat. But Haley wasn't looking. She was searching for a reason. Where were you headed again? Home. 2 blocks over. Why didn't you pull over sooner? I wasn't aware I needed to. You followed me. I stopped when your lights went on. You were swerving, Haley stated flatly, rewriting reality. I was not. It's my word against yours, Haley retorted. Control. That's what this was about. Anything in the car I should know about? Drugs? Weapons? No, officer. Haley radioed for backup. Margaret tilted her head. Backup? Is there a problem? We'll see, Haley snapped. Minutes stretched. Another cruiser arrived. Officer Ray Collins, older, heavier, stepped out. He nodded at Haley, glanced at Margaret, then back at Haley. What do we got? Suspicious behavior. Out-of-state plates. Got cagey. Collins turned to Margaret. Do you object to us searching your vehicle? I do, she said firmly. You have no cause. Haley smirked. We can get a warrant. Margaret met her gaze. Then do. Haley leaned in close. People like you always think you're better than the rules. People like me. Margaret repeated slowly. You mean people who know their rights? Haley's nostrils flared. Place your hands on the hood. For what? You're being detained for suspicion of obstruction. Jim Hartley muttered a curse, finger steady on the record button. Haley grabbed Margaret's arm. The cold metal pressed against her palms. I'm not under arrest, Margaret stated. Not yet, Haley muttered. The click of handcuffs echoed, sharp and final. Margaret winced, not from pain, but weariness. Still, she stood tall, unbroken. This wouldn't end the way Officer Dunn thought. This was only the beginning. Haley led Margaret to her cruiser, a smirk playing on her lips. Collins looked away, avoiding eye contact. Obstruction? Possible false ID, Haley told him. We'll sort it out at the station. The back door slammed shut, sealing Margaret in the cold, impersonal cage. Jim Hartley watched them drive away, the video file burning a hole in his pocket. He grabbed his coat. He wasn't done. At the station, fluorescent lights buzzed over linoleum floors. Haley marched Margaret in. Heads turned. Who's the perp? A young officer asked.
Out-of-state driver. Smart mouth. Haley replied. Book, huh? Margaret was led to a sterile holding room. Metal bench, one-way mirror. Haley sat opposite her. Let's try this again. Name? Margaret Ellis. Address? 1432 West Pine. 2 blocks from where you stopped me. Haley didn't write. Why move here? To be near my son. What's he do? Margaret paused. City business. Meanwhile, Jim Hartley found Officer Miguel Torres. Torres, younger, earnest, watched the video Jim had recorded. His expression grew grim. The woman was calm, compliant. Haley was aggressive, unprofessional. Can I copy this? Torres asked. Hoping you would, Jim replied. Torres took the file straight to Sergeant Daniels. Old school, no nonsense. Daniels watched, sighed heavily. Done again. And this one's bad, Sarge. Just then, a private line rang, straight into Chief Raymond Holstead's office. He answered groggily. Holstead. The voice on the other end was calm, controlled, steel-edged. This is Mayor Julian Ellis. My mother has been detained at your station. I want an immediate explanation. Holstead sat bolt upright. Margaret Ellis, the mayor's mother. Panic seized him. Holstead stormed towards the holding rooms. Where's Dunn? He barked. He found Margaret sitting calmly, regal even on the cold bench. Mrs. Ellis, I'm Chief Holstead. We're resolving this now. He ordered the cuffs removed. Get her release paperwork ready. As Holstead dealt with the internal explosion, Torres escorted Margaret towards the lobby. Jim Hartley was waiting. He said, stepping forward. I saw it all. Recorded it. You were treated horribly. Margaret offered a small, grateful nod. Thank you, Mr. Hartley. Just then, Mayor Julian Ellis swept into the lobby, fury barely contained. Mom, he breathed, rushing to her side, wrapping her in a hug. For the first time, Margaret's eyes closed, finding safety in his arms. I'm okay, she whispered. Julian nodded, jaw tight. Let's go. They walked out, leaving the chaos behind. Holstead, meanwhile, watched Jim's video. His face went pale. She didn't resist. No, sir, Daniels confirmed. Haley cuffed her anyway. Get Dunn in my office. Now. Haley swaggered in, defiant. What's this about? You arrested the mayor's mother, Holstead said, voice low, dangerous. You racially profiled a grieving woman 2 blocks from her home. And you did it on camera. Haley froze. Camera? Someone filmed it. It's already spreading. You're suspended. Badge and weapon. Now. Haley's face flushed. Because of political pressure. Because you broke protocol. Because you created a scandal. Holstead roared. Reluctantly, Haley placed a badge and gun on his desk. The sound echoed in the silence. By morning, Margaret Gate was trending. The video played everywhere. Outrage poured in. Julian held a press conference, his mother seated front row. Last night, my mother was wrongfully detained, racially profiled, and humiliated, he declared. This isn't just about my family. It's about accountability. And it starts today. Internal Affairs arrived. Officer Torres unearthed a pattern. Past complaints against Dunn, mostly from minority residents, mysteriously buried. He contacted Maria Lopez, a single mother Dunn had stopped 3 times. Maria shared her story. Then Earl Watkins, pulled over for not signaling, threatened with impoundment. 2 emergency oversight hearings followed. Margaret spoke first, not with anger, but quiet power. Officer Dunn didn't see a woman. She saw a problem because the system taught her she could. Maria Lopez told of her children's fear. Earl Watkins asked, "What are the rest of us supposed to do?" Jim Hartley played his video. "That's not how we treat people here. Not anymore." The committee's decision was swift. Termination for Dunn, referral for criminal investigation, a full audit of the department, and a new civilian review board. Cheers erupted. The town had woken up. Haley Dunn was found guilty of civil rights violations, probation, restitution, community service. But Margaret knew accountability was just a start. Weeks later, she stood before a rundown former library. "We're opening the Ellis Center for Community Justice," she announced, honoring her late husband's legacy. A place for legal aid, education, accountability. Funded by the city, championed by her son, built by the community. Years passed. The Ellis Center thrived, expanding, helping hundreds, changing policies. On the anniversary of her arrest, now Ellis Day, a new plaque was unveiled in the center's garden. She stood, and so we followed. Margaret, older now, watched from her office window as a new generation learned, debated, and organized within walls built from resilience. The fight wasn't over, but the future, once uncertain, now felt possible. A future built not on silence, but on the enduring power of dignity. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell only on Alina.